So then he goes away and he turns all his lights off and his refrigerator doesn't kick on. There's nothing. Actually, his meter starts spinning backwards and he starts getting credit for the power that he's producing.
Okay.
He may not be using it. This guy over here may be using it. His neighbor may use it. But he's getting credit for creating power. And either he uses it or he puts it back into the grid, into the system, and your neighbor or whoever uses it. And so he gets the credit for making the power.
Okay.
So ideally, if he puts a system on his house that fits what his electrical needs are, his meter will be going like this, and then it'll be going like this, and it'll be going like this, and then at the end of the month, he'll have no bill. He'll have zero electricity bill. I don't know if that's your case or not, but in some cases, a house in California, we put 12 kilowatts on. His bill was $600 a month, and now at the end of the year, he got a check for $12. Now, not every state has
But
net
he also
metering.
didn't have an electric bill.
Yeah, he didn't have. Basically it was a flush, and we did that intentionally. We looked at his bill and we said, okay, this is how much solar you need, and we were pretty much spot on. We went for 97%, and we got over 100. So.
Okay. How much is Mike getting today?
I didn't do the calcs on his job. It's a 4.3 kilowatt system.
Okay.
And I would base it on the house, and depending on how much electricity they use, it probably will take care of his bill.
Okay.
I don't know for sure, depending on what he may have some high-powered electric things.
You have a spider on your shirt. Don't freak out, but you might want to shake that. Okay.
Little daddy on
It went that way, somewhere into the wind.
Yeah, well, I know they were debating in Iowa, what's proper compensation. Some people were wanting wholesale. I think that wasn't the case at least a few years ago, but
Wholesale.
I don't know, or one for one. So I think in Iowa, do you still get charged for like the infrastructure of having the traditional? I'm probably not using the right terms, but
Yeah, I think you're saying, in other words, if that's the way it is in Michigan, he gets to use his power and he also gets credit for his power.
right.
So if he's during the day his air is on and he's using that power, he may use the power and he also gets credit for using the credit for the power he created too. So it's a double dip kind of like, and that's what it takes to pay for an expensive solar system at this point right now. As the costs come down and we get to under $1 a watt for the manufacturing of the solar, then it's going to be a lot. Right now it's kind of high, So as it comes down, it'll get better and better. That's the idea.
What made you take a look at this, Mike? Did you explore other types of other options? Or?
Mike's the owner of the house.
What's that?
I'm talking to myself here, to my
Memo.
video. Yes.
Well, I actually, to be honest with you, when we looked at this house to buy it,
Okay.
and I walked around it, and I was out here in the back, my first conclusion was this would be a perfect solar house. Because I know that Waverly has a rule, you cannot put solar on to the side of your house, even if it's the south side, if it's facing somebody's front door, which I think is kind of a crazy rule with what we have.
Right.
But there's nobody facing my back.
Oh, wow.
The sun is good. We have trees, but they don't shade it. And I happen to think that renewables are a good idea. Frankly, we're going to get to the point where everybody's going to wonder why aren't we doing something different. Waverly buys their energy from a company in Nebraska, and they basically are using coal,
Yeah.
which I would rather not do if I didn't have to.
Right.
So this is a way to get away from that.
Sure.
And the other thing is that I do freelance writing, and I discovered that I could put all my freelance writing money away. I could pay for the system.
Okay.
So in 4 years, I collected enough to do it.
All right.
My neighbors want me
So that's
to
what
do
you
it.
were doing all those years next to me. We used to cover city council together.
Yeah, yes, I get paid for that. Yeah, for your competition. But I do write for other newspapers and magazines and stuff like that. So
Okay, interesting.
we thought about taking a trip around the world, and I thought, hey, why don't we just put solar on the house? We might still take a trip. It's going to take 4 more years.
Trip around the world sounds good too.
It does, yes.
You probably just run the air conditioner just about every day now, right?
Well, we're right at that point. We haven't been running it for a while, but now it's really getting
Need to get it plugged in.
dicey.
Okay.
Yeah. that's right.
Getting back to cost to make sure I understand this correctly, when I talked to the Waverly Power, the utility, they were talking about how you get credit, but it's not a one-for-one because they still factor in cost for like the infrastructure and all that. And I know that that's not not every resident would agree with that, so it might be questionable in terms of exactly how much you'll get back, and that
Yep.
remains to be seen. Or
Yep. I actually would have done it whether I got any credits or not.
okay,
I just cut my expenditure.
There's a lot of people in the market that are just green-minded, and they
Yeah.
want to do something for mankind, and they want to they feel like this is their way to give back to to the good of all, and so they do that, and that's a good thing. But there's a lot of people that do it for the financial reason too.
right.
And here, the power is probably not too overly expensive, but in some parts of the world,
Right.
in the islands, for instance, they're running diesel generators to create their power. So it's very, very expensive. I mean, the electric is everything to them, and it's like they're creating. This is something that can be a payback with the right. Home buys it at the right rate and then puts it on with the right labor, and it's a very quick payback for and then you have all the money that you're going to be making over the years that the thing's generating power. Who knows where the electric bill is going to go in the future?
Right.
It steadily increases every year, but
Sure.
we don't really know if some large jump or maybe a decrease.
Okay.
I don't usually see a decrease happening.
I've been to at least a couple dozen villages, Indian villages in the Amazon that would have loved to have your system. That's what they do. They have a generator, and they can
They run diesel.
and with
It's very expensive.
yeah.
So there's a lot of ideas how to build a smarter plan, and take IBM term, to build a smarter plan of how we can work together. And Mike is one of several of our first customers that says, we want you guys to come out and install it. And he's not looking at it as a financial thing. He's more of a feel-good type of thing, and
Feels like the right thing to do.
he wants to do it. He just plain wants to do it. Sometimes when you have people don't need a Jaguar car or a Mercedes-Benz, they just want it. And this is
Right.
something Mike just wanted. It's not
Yeah.
a financial thing for him. He's not looking to make his money back and count his pennies. He's just wanting to do something where he knows he is contributing to a problem that this planet is going to have in the future, and it's just his little way to do it, and say, it feels good. And every customer, I don't have one customer that I've ever installed a system for that regrets that they put a solar system on and it was too expensive. They love, matter of fact, it becomes a hobby to them, and they watch how much power it produces every day.
They love
And they love, and when Mike's done, if he wants, he can go online. He can hook up a device that shows how much power he created that day, and he can be in the California and sitting down with a friend and say, "Hey, I got this home in Iowa, and I got solar power on it. You want to see how it's doing right now?" And you can look at it.
Go
So,
anywhere,